Once upon a time, single parents Cynthia Baumgartner and Randy Roth find each other and start a beautiful new life together.
If you wanted to take a picture of the perfect family, it would be these three little boys and their newly married parents who were so much in love.
It was exciting that we were going to have a normal family.
But all too soon, tragedy strikes over and over and over.
I definitely believe there was foul play.
Those were huge red flags, and they were significant red flags.
I just didn't know how it was going to go on.
For this couple, the honeymoon is over.
We are gathered here in the presence of God. Randy.
In a Reno, Nevada wedding chapel, Cynthia Baumgartner tingles with excitement as she stands with her fiancé, Randy Roth.
Do you take Cynthia to be your lawful wedded wife for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Cynthia, do you take Randy as your lawfully wedded husband to have and...
The 33-year-old single mom can't believe her luck in finding a handsome, romantic guy who, like her, is a single parent.
I do.
Finally, her life has turned around, and she's happy again, after some heartbreakingly difficult times. Cynthia grew up in Washington State. At 19, she married her high school sweetheart, and soon was a happy stay-at-home mom of 2 boys. But after only 9 years together, she lost her husband to Hodgkin's disease.
After my dad died, the way we stayed strong, I guess, is you were raised Christian, good Christian family. So my mom kept us involved in sports and the church.
Her husband's life insurance meant she didn't have to get a job, but she found it very hard to be alone. Things got a little easier when her best friend moved in to help with the kids.
They shared the duties. It was like having 2 soccer moms taking us all over the place.
But there was still something missing for her and the boys.
She was concerned that they had no male influence.
At night when it's just me and her.
And she wanted a new love.
She had a few dates, but she didn't find anybody that she thought was good enough.
Little did she know, the perfect Christian man would indeed come into her life.
With this ring, I thee wed.
Randy Roth is the answer to her prayers. And Cynthia is his dream, too. He's been searching for a woman just like her to be his wife and stepmother to his teenage son.
I wonder...
She was so loving, and of course that was what Randy was looking for. He adored her.
Before he met Cynthia, the former Marine and single dad had his share of tough times, too.
Randy was raising his son on his own, went to sporting events with his son, liked outdoor activities, owned quads, motorcycles.
A hard-working auto mechanic, he came from a Catholic family and always opted for a clean lifestyle. No drinking or smoking for this disciplined guy.
He was religious, kind, and he had beautiful brown eyes, very muscular, kept himself in good shape.
But he too was feeling incomplete. His son's mother left him. His second wife died. Now he's alone again. He could only hope love was still out there for him.
I direct you to the candles that we have here.
And it was.
I wonder if each of you would take a candle.
The two can't believe their luck.
How exciting for Cynthia. She met a former Marine. Think about it. Their code of conduct is honor, courage, commitment. Exactly what she needed.
By the power vested in me in the state of Nevada, I now pronounce you man and wife. Randy, you may kiss your bride.
After hardships on both sides, they're now bonded as one. stronger and ready for a bright future with their 3 boys.
Yeah, I was happy that my mom had someone and that we were gonna have a dad.
The newly formed family of 5 moved to the Seattle suburb of Woodinville, Washington, where they enjoy taking trips to the gorgeous mountains, beaches, and lakes. It's a wonderful life. But less than a year after the wedding, their promising future comes to a crashing end during a family trip to Lake Sammamish, Washington. Cynthia's unconscious and needs help, fast. She has no pulse, and lifeguards begin CPR to try to revive her. As her sons watch in horror, a detective responds within minutes and asks Randy what happened.
He explained that they decided to take the raft across the lake. They stopped to swim in the wake of a boat, flipped the raft over on top of her. And then when he was able to right the raft, she was face down in the water and unconscious.
This is Conrad down at the lake. I need EMTs now.
When EMTs arrive, they continue trying to save the beautiful newlywed. Still no pulse. How can something so terrifying be happening? When just a year before, fate brought them together on a sun-drenched baseball field.
I'll have a hot dog.
Okay. Randy had a son who was pretty close in age to her boys, and he was always at Little League himself and volunteering for everything.
$2. There you go, bit lady. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good game.
My dad thinks you're really pretty. I'm gonna get ready for the game, Dad.
Yeah, go get loose, buddy. Wow, I apologize for that very embarrassing behavior.
When Randy spots Cynthia, he's wowed from the start. Is this the woman he's been hoping for?
So this is quite the operation you got going.
For Cynthia, it's been 6 years since her husband died. She's almost given up on finding another man to share her life with. Each senses something right away.
Cool. There was attraction and admiration at first sight. Of all the fathers in the Little League group, here was one who was there all the time for his son.
For us, it's Little League and church. It's
Same for us. We're either at the baseball field or at church.
He seems great.
Important to us.
Yeah, same here. Well, we should have dinner sometime.
But then Cynthia hesitates.
But what about Greg's mom?
Well, she divorced me a couple years ago, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to hear that.
She didn't believe in divorce because it's not how the Bible works. Obviously, she could marry again, but she wanted to be married to a good Christian man.
Then he reveals the heartbreaking story of his past. His first wife abandoned him and their son. His second wife died tragically in a hiking accident. Despite his painful past, he seems so strong and secure. She senses he's something very special.
They meet at their kid's Little League game. How cute is that? He's a good parent, she's a good parent, this could work. There was probably a frenetic energy to form that blended family quickly.
My mom felt closer to Randy because Randy had gone through something similar to what my mom had gone through with losing a companion.
Deep down, she believes she's finally found the soulmate she's been praying for.
Good.
Be great.
Dinner it is.
But as paramedics work to revive her, the blessing of their union may be destroyed. Thankfully, Randy's own son is with a friend and doesn't have to witness paramedics trying to shock her heart into beating again. But Cynthia's young boys are right there to watch.
I remember seeing my mom, and she was gray. Her lips were blue. There was foam and reddish foam, like blood coming out of her mouth, because they were flipping her on her side and doing CPR. I know I was hysterical. I was crying. And my little brother, I'm pretty sure, was too. It was pretty tough.
Randy has lost 2 wives already. Is his perfect world being wrenched from him once again? He and the boys follow the ambulance to the hospital.
I do remember sitting in the waiting room, and I remember praying, just praying that she would be all right.
They cling to hope as doctors keep trying to stimulate her heart into beating, her lungs into breathing again. The doctors just have to save her because none of them can imagine life without her. Can they? In a Washington State emergency room, Randy Roth awaits news on his wife Cynthia with his 2 stepsons. Meanwhile, investigators review the sequence of events. During the family's trip to Lake Sammamish that day,
He said it was his wife's idea to row across the lake so they could be in a romantic setting. Cynthia then got out of the raft into the lake.
loving newlyweds seizing a rare moment of privacy. Then,
she was swimming around the raft when she got a leg cramp.
He helped her get to the side of the raft, and he was working his way around to the other side of the raft so that he could stabilize the raft while she climbed in it.
He says at that point, a strong weight from a passing motorboat flipped the raft over, trapping Cynthia underneath. It took Randy a minute or two to right the raft. After finally flipping it back over and off Cynthia, he found her face down and not breathing. He pulled her in and paddled to shore for help. After an agonizing wait that was less than an hour but seemed a lifetime, the doctor delivers devastating news. They could not revive her. The new bride has drowned. How do you tell two little boys their mom is gone?
Boys, the doctor just told me she didn't make it. She drowned.
She's sitting in that room.
Mom has passed.
It's like my world had ended. So, what do you do from that point on? How do you imagine your life without your mom? So, I didn't know where we were gonna go from there. That was one of the worst moments in my life.
These poor kids, when their father died, there had been an illness. They knew that he was going to pass away. But to have a tragedy strike in such a dramatic way and so instantaneously with their mother, imagine the tragedy here.
Just a year earlier, no one could have imagined such a shocking tragedy. In a rush of happiness, Randy meets Cynthia's boys for the first time and introduces his own son.
He won her heart by family trips, family picnics. The boys always went along.
He helped us with our baseball lot, and that was kind of like what a dad would do. It felt like we had that male father figure in our life that we hadn't had for a while. No one can replace my dad, and my mom always said that. He's not here to replace your dad.
But Randy is clearly a good, caring man. The strong male role model she's so desperately wanted for her boys.
You know, research has shown that single parents who are good parents tend to be really good partners because they're used to caregiving.
And when they find alone time, Randy has Cynthia completely under his spell.
Welcome home.
Thank you. Aw.
So I sent the kids off to the sitter and have a little surprise.
Randy was just giving her things and taking her out and making her feel like a queen.
He would send roses and told her she was beautiful. loved her just the way she was. He was really romantic.
I remember my mom coming to us when they were dating and asking how we felt about Randy. We were pretty excited about him.
A manly man with a deeply romantic side and a strong sense of faith. What's not to be excited about?
She went to church with us, and that's what she was looking for in a companion, was a strong Christian man for me and my brother.
It was like Cynthia's checklist was just getting checked off. Ah, great dad, great boyfriend, former Marine, religion. This is all great. Tick, tick, tick.
She would talk about him to her friends, and she'd smile. Women who are loved have that look. It's hard to describe, but she had it.
2 months into their fairy tale romance, Randy wants to whisk Cynthia off to Reno for a special weekend getaway.
So I was thinking, why don't we get out of here? Take a trip.
Randy, I'd love to, but I can't go away with a man I'm not married to.
Her faith is important. She doesn't want to rush intimacy unless this is forever.
Finally, she said, I'll go, but we need to be engaged first.
Okay.
No problem for Randy.
Will you marry me?
The king of romance instantly fulfills her wish by asking that life-changing question. Though it's only been 2 months, she knows it's right and takes the plunge.
She felt like she'd known him for a long, long time.
I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Let's get married.
And he was so friendly and kind and loving that it just seemed right to her.
Okay.
Okay?
So why wait? He says they should just get married in Reno. They've both done formal ceremonies with the tux and the gown in the past. This time should be just about them. She's nervous about how her family will react. But after so much loneliness, it feels good to be loved so much. It's the beginning of what should be a lifetime of joy. And now, less than a year later, joy has turned to crushing grief as Randy and the boys struggle to accept that Cynthia is gone. But for King County Detective Sue Peters, something about this accidental drowning doesn't ring true.
Based on all the information my partner and I had received on this case, it made us want to go back and talk to anybody that was present that day, including EMTs, paramedics, anyone that was boating on the lake.
Was it really just an accident? Or is something more sinister going on here? Soon, shocking new facts will rise from the deep, and Cynthia's death will not be the only terrible tragedy that comes to light. A family trip to the lake has turned deadly for newlywed mother Cynthia Roth. How could something so horrible have happened so fast?
We don't know the exact details of how this drowning occurred because there was no eyewitnesses.
Former Marine Randy Roth has lost another wife to a tragic death. It's a nightmare ending to the fairy tale Cynthia's life had become. Just a year earlier, she and Randy go to Reno for a romantic elopement. They've only been dating for 2 months. But she can't wait to call herself Mrs. Roth.
Looks so good.
Thank you.
Here, if God had given her this wonderful man who loved her boys as he loved his son, why should she delay? She knew he was the right one.
The lovebirds race to a chapel to make it official. The surprise wedding stuns her family.
When my family found out that they eloped, they were all very upset that they had just done that, because that's not how you do it. You get married with your family. It's a special commitment for your whole life.
Well, maybe she didn't want to hear what all her friends and family would say, and her church community. They would say, slow down.
But for Cynthia, it's full steam ahead on this new life with her loving man. She and Randy buy a new house for themselves and the boys.
Hey guys.
As we moved in together, things at first seemed normal. And then I noticed my mom, she changed a little. I could sense something was a little different.
Her friends notice it too.
Girl, I haven't seen you in so long. Hey.
She wasn't going out much. She was staying at home.
What do you need help with? Nothing. I gotta go get dinner started. What's going on?
She's just not the same warm, vibrant Cynthia. But perhaps she's just adjusting to all the big changes in her life.
I'll see you around. Cynthia.
New husband, new home, instant family. It's a lot for anyone. After the wedding, Randy seems to change too.
He became more withdrawn at the start. He cared, like, helping us out and doing whatnot.
Hey, Dad, we'll come play baseball. It could be all-time pitcher.
Did you see him busy?
And then once we got out there, he didn't seem to care as much.
No.
Okay.
Just normal growing pains, right?
At the beginning of any marriage, there are speed bumps. This happens to everybody while they're adjusting to living under one roof.
Maybe all they need is a little more time to settle into their new life together. But now, time has run out, forever. 6 days after Cynthia's tragic death, devastated friends and family members gather at the Silver Lake Chapel for her memorial service. The loving mother has been cremated. No one can process the depth of this loss. Randy is withdrawn and distant, not really interacting with anyone.
I'm so sorry. I know this is so hard.
With his first wife leaving him and his second wife dying, this is Randy's third trip down Heartbreak Lane.
People grieve in all kinds of ways, and they also grieve on their own schedule. At funerals, we sometimes force people to grieve exactly at 3 p.m. on Friday, and it doesn't always work out that way.
The relationship had started with so much joy, but on that lake, it all ended in one horrifying moment. And while Randy insists it was an accident, authorities aren't convinced he's being entirely truthful. Soon they'll uncover disturbing secrets lurking in his past, including another suspicious story of another newlywed bride whose young life was also reduced to ashes. Trying to understand why newlywed Cynthia Roth drowned in a Washington lake, investigators in King County talked with family and friends. They discovered that for the 2 brief months leading up to the wedding, Randy Roth was the perfect romantic. But as soon as he and Cynthia were married, the carefree lover revealed a different side.
It seemed like overnight that things changed. Things went from happy, great to what's going on here. We were all almost walking on eggshells around Randy. He had a severe anger problem, and he would snap for no reason.
Randy begins controlling Cynthia's bank account and stops her from doing even the littlest things for herself.
Suddenly, her fingernails weren't done anymore because he complained it was too much.
It seems minor enough, just painted nails, but it's part of a much deeper shift in their relationship.
What are you doing? This? This is not how you fold the laundry. It's gotta be perfect.
The courtship was over. Randy got what he wanted. He didn't have to prove anything anymore. They were under his roof, and he was in control.
Perfect!
It was Randy's show. We were just along for the ride.
The worst part is that he turns on the three boys, becoming a strict drill sergeant.
Come on! 6, 7, all the way down, up, down, 8!
When we did mess up, there was punishment.
Push-up after push-up after push-up.
I remember my hands were cut up and bleeding.
Cynthia tries to protect the kids as much as she can.
Show me something!
Randy, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing?
What are they?
But each time she tries, Randy lashes out emotionally and physically. Because of her faith, she believes leaving is not an option.
She made a commitment with the marriage. And so she's gonna work it out. That's what the vows are, better or worse. And even though this was the worst.
She wanted to honor her religion that said divorce is wrong. She would just try to create calm as best she could in the household.
My mom looked out for us. She loved us. Honestly, during this time, it was probably the closest I've been with my mom.
She always tried to surround them with love. But now she's been ripped away from them forever. As investigators dig deeper into Randy's history, they quickly come across a red flag. He's a liar. He had told Cynthia he'd been married twice before. But King County detectives discover that, in fact, there were 3 other wives. Though he said his first wife left him, he'd actually divorced her, suddenly, giving no reason. And he always said his second wife, Tanya, died in a hiking accident.
She accidentally died.
King County detectives call the investigators in Skamania County who handled Tanya's death. They learn Randy's story was that he and Tanya, who like Cynthia was a single mom, were hiking an area called Beacon Rock on a romantic outing. It was just a fun trip, without the kids, in a beautiful remote place.
Hey, slow down, we're not racing.
Then, with no warning, he claimed Tanya slipped and tumbled over the edge. She plummeted several hundred feet and landed on a rock shelf below. Skamania County investigators tell the King County detectives they've long suspected Randy killed Tanya, but have never been able to prove it.
The rescue personnel told us that where her body ended up did not make sense.
The rescuers believe if Tanya slipped from where he claimed, she couldn't have landed where she did. Had he actually pushed her? Randy had the body quickly cremated the next day, destroying any evidence. With no other clues or witnesses, the medical examiner had to rule Tanya's death accidental. And then there's Randy's third wife, single mom Donna Clift. The one he never told Cynthia about.
Hi. Hi. You know, my dad thinks you're pretty.
Sorry for his forwardness. He's always trying to be my wingman.
No problem.
Just like with Cynthia, Donna's relationship with Randy began with an intense blaze of romance.
Just a few days after I met him is when I started getting dozens of roses and all kinds of gifts.
Hey, go for a post, ready?
And that is when I thought, well, what a great guy. Took me out to dinner, you know, included my daughter, which was a big plus for me because it was a package deal.
Randy wasted no time making his move.
We had only been dating not even a month when he proposed to me so fast and asked me to marry him, and I just said yes. It just seemed right. He just was so great at that time. It was just amazing.
But Donna's stepmom was worried.
He scared me to death. I told her to be cautious. I told her I was leery of him. This whole thing was happening just way too quick.
And just like with Cynthia, Cynthia and Randy did a 180 as soon as they said, "I do."
After we got married, his personality changed a lot. He started to become very controlling, telling me where I could and couldn't go, what I could and couldn't wear. I would go to get in my car in the morning and the car wouldn't start. Found out later that he had disabled the battery. He never wanted me to make friends. He just thought I should be like that stay-at-home, subservient wife that I'm just not.
Every day she saw more evidence of his intense anger and controlling ways. She began to fear for her safety and left him, filing for an annulment.
I had a feeling that he had every intention of killing me.
This is why he didn't want anyone to know about Donna, because Donna would blow the horn on him. She got out early.
With Tanya, Donna, and Cynthia, it's the same story every time. After a whirlwind romance, Randy marries each of the lonely single moms quickly. Then he gets down to business, having them sign big life insurance policies, with him as the beneficiary.
Randy had benefited from the death of his second wife, Tanya. He had received a large insurance policy.
A cool $100,000. Flush with his success in Tanya's death, he starts talking insurance with Donna right after she accepted his proposal.
I kept thinking, why are we even discussing life insurance? We weren't even married yet when he was even bringing it up, and he had the paperwork out and ready for me to sign.
Same thing with Cynthia, insured right away. Now that her death has been ruled accidental, Randy stands to make a whopping $385,000 from her life insurance policy. Investigators discover that within days of Cynthia's memorial service, the conniving Don Juan is back in business.
2 days after Cynthia had passed away, we learned that Randy had asked a co-worker who was a single mother to accompany him to Reno. Randy moved very quickly.
He's already starting to groom his next victim. He has absolutely no empathy, no compassion. He's just a self-pleasure machine trying to make money off these women.
Oh, hey, come on in.
King County authorities now believe Randy Roth is like some kind of serial killer for profit, and they have to stop him before another single mom falls for his charms and dies at his hands. Investigators suspect Randy Roth murdered his second wife, Tanya, and wanted to kill his third wife, Donna. He claims his fourth wife, Cynthia, drowned, but the cops aren't buying it.
As we continued to look into Cynthia's death, we determined that most likely she died at the hands of a cold, calculated murder.
He's been dating a co-worker,
Come on in.
and detectives worry the single mom might be his next victim. They have only circumstantial evidence, his pattern of targeting and insuring single moms, and his many lies. But they need to get Randy Roth off the streets.
Randy Roth, you're under arrest for the murder of your wife, Cynthia Roth.
They arrest him nearly 3 months after Cynthia's death and charge him with her murder. Now they somehow have to build a solid case to make sure he doesn't walk away free.
There was not forensic evidence that you would typically want to have. So we're looking for circumstantial evidence.
Part of that circumstantial evidence is Randy's disturbing history with women. At trial, the prosecutor paints Randy as a cunning sociopath who targets very specific victims in a pattern of deceit and violence.
The women were always vulnerable. single mothers. Randy was always wanting to get married too soon, always wanted to have life insurance on them too soon.
And then he would change. He started plotting to kill them for money.
That's a pattern.
The prosecutor tells jurors what authorities think really happened to his second wife, Tanya. Because of where her body ended up, they believe she had to have been shoved rather than tumbling down the side.
There's no way she could have ended up where they found her unless she had had a tremendous bounce. But bodies are not rubber. Our bodies don't bounce.
Randy collects the insurance, and Tanya's little girl is left motherless. Randy's third wife, Donna, testifies about the scariest moment in her marriage to him. On a terrifying whitewater rafting trip.
I felt like he was purposely running into the rocks. And when we hit that fork in the river, of course, he went on the rushing part and smashed right into the rocks, and the boat started deflating immediately. And I started screaming. I freaked out. Because I really thought I was going to die.
Her parents were in a boat in front of them. They helped her get to shore before the boat fully deflated.
She was so scared. You could just, her eyes were big, her cheeks are red. She was just absolutely terrified.
I went onto the shore, and I never went back to him after that.
She annuls the marriage, surviving his murderous plot to be the mother her child needed. The arrogant Randy Roth takes the stand in his own defense, believing he can charm the jury as he had so many women. He stands by his story that Cynthia drowned when a passing boat flipped their raft over on top of her. But the prosecutor plays a video for the jury, showing investigators' attempts to recreate the supposed accident.
We did some reenactments with boats passing by the exact same raft that he used on that day to row across the lake. We had several boats speed by at different distances, trying to see if we could get this raft to overturn.
Nothing made it flip.
Here's a guy who thinks he's smarter than women, and when the prosecutor, Marilyn Brenneman, confronted him about all these lies and about his stories, she basically took him apart. She had caught him in all these lies.
The longer I let him explain himself, the more incredulous the explanations seemed.
No further questions, Your Honor.
After hours of squirming, Randy leaves the stand flustered and defeated. The prosecutor reveals to the jury what really happened that day on the lake. Randy made sure they were out deep, away from everyone else. No witnesses. Out there, the woman he vowed to protect was defenseless. A deadly sneak attack by the former Marine. The ultimate betrayal of trust.
Randy, the Marine, honor, courage, commitment. I'd say he failed on all three here.
After deliberating 8 hours, the jury finds Roth guilty of murder and insurance fraud. They sentence him to 50 years in prison.
When I found out the truth, I was so young, I couldn't believe that someone could do that to another person. I was in disbelief. I guess looking back on it, I'm not surprised.
My biggest sadness is for the children left behind.
It was seeing them, what they had to go through. The kids. They were so young. A lot of people had told me, you're a survivor. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing when you wonder why. Why me? Why did I make it? And I don't know why.
Due to a lack of evidence and his conviction in Cynthia's murder, prosecutors decide not to formally charge Randy Roth in Tanya's death.
Marriage is supposed to be until death do us part. Randy's job is to speed up death. For him, marriage is just a means to an end, and that end is a payday. This guy was pure evil.
Not long before her death, Cynthia changed her will so that custody of her sons went to her best friend, who finished raising 2 fine boys into men.
The one thing I know that my mom is now in heaven with my dad, so they're happy. I am sad that my daughter will never get to meet my mom. And then I feel bad that my mom will never get to see her granddaughter grow up. There's not a day that goes by that I don't miss my mom and I don't wish she was here with me. But this is the way it is, and I'll keep her alive in my memory.